So, Disney had an event recently called Disney Expo, where they showed off a bunch of different projects, and I decided to take a break from watching Pirates of the Caribbean to see what they're cooking up for us. Honestly, some of this stuff was announced years ago, and other ones announced recently at Comic-Con. But what I'm interested in are things that have actual footage and are coming out soon. So let me tell you guys what I won't be talking about in this video, because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't really care, and I'm not gonna pretend to be excited for every single one of these announcements. There's the new Daredevil show, Black Panther, Fantastic Four, and Armor Wars. Basically shit that was just given a title card that isn't coming out anytime soon, or there isn't that much new information on that's really worth talking about. I'm not really interested in talking about something that doesn't have anything to really show. But also, there are some Marvel games coming out, because the last one was just that well received. Although I did hear good things about that Guardians of the Galaxy game. That'll about do it for the Marvel side of things that I'm not going to be discussing, but there are also some new Star Wars related trailers that dropped, but I don't really care. I've seen their movies and that's enough for me. So not going to be discussing some Star Wars stuff today, sorry. There's also shit like Hocus Pocus 2 that I didn't know was happening, and some musical called Disenchanted.
Don't care. Oh
look, a live action remake of The Little Mermaid. Yeah, because all their past live action remakes have been so top notch. Let's just toss this and all future live action Disney remakes into the dumpster and just get it over with. I don't see the point in their existence. It's like a live action anime adaptation, just pointless.
We're not going to be watching that.
Okay, so now that I discarded 90% of what they announced, what's really left? Well, we got the Secret Invasion show and the Halloween special Werewolf by Night. Yeah, for as silly as it sounds, these are the only two things that genuinely interested me. As you can tell, this is going to be a very short video. But let's get into it, shall we?
I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga, I'm a lion.
So Secret Invasion is going to be a series that's going to be streaming on Disney Plus, following Nick Fury played by Samuel L. Jackson. And if you're following the continuity of the MCU films, Nick Fury has been kind of MIA for a while. And from what I can gather, it's going to be about Nick Fury trying to flush out the shape-shifting Skrulls, who have infiltrated their way into high positions of power around the world. So Nick Fury is assembling a very small team to try to flush them out. Now the main reason why I'm actually really intrigued on this one is because it was actually a really serious trailer. No jokes or quips, which gives me the impression that this is actually going to be a project that's going to be taken seriously. The whole event of this movie will be played straight, instead of taking a more lighthearted approach, which I am a-okay with. I've made no secret that I'm not a big fan of the MCU's brand of humor, and honestly it's gotten worse in the last couple years. But Secret Invasion gets my attention because the serious tone just feels refreshing at this point. Now hopefully in the actual show they maintain this serious tone, and don't get too out of control with their quips and humor. I mean, if it can strike a good balance like in The Winter Soldier, then that would be perfect. Now even though I'm very interested, and I dare even say a little excited for this one, I do want to remain cautious because the MCU doesn't have the best track record in my opinion when it comes to their shows. Not to dive too much into it, but basically I always find their shows have an interesting concept that string you along pretty well for a few episodes before it quickly loses steam and leads to an anticlimactic finish. I guess you can chalk most of that up to just really bad pacing and story structure, which leads to the whole show as a whole feeling very underwhelming, and then you forget about it and move on. So here's hoping that Secret Invasion doesn't fall victim to that. Hopefully they thought it through more thoroughly and are able to keep up the momentum from episode to episode so that things don't feel either drawn out or completely rushed and looked over. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for Secret Invasion.
Don't you run from me, little nigga.
Alright, next up is Werewolf by Night, and I'm actually very interested in this one. So the concept seems very simple. Group of people come together in a house to hunt a werewolf. It's a Halloween special coming out soon, and I'm completely down for it. It's clearly going for a 50s horror movie vibe, with a black and white aesthetic with the film grain in it, as well as with the music. Although I do feel like it's ripping off Psycho a little bit, but honestly it feels more like a homage than a ripoff, you know what I mean? Apparently this still does take place in the established MCU, but honestly I don't really care. It honestly just looks like a lot of fun, so it's a little refreshing to see something drastically different from what they normally put out. Although if I can complain about one thing, it would be that if they're gonna really dive into this black and white 1950s horror aesthetic, they could have given it a 4:3 aspect ratio to really make it look how most films were presented back then. Because they got the black and white, they got the film grain, they got the music, but if it had the 4:3 aspect ratio, it would have been a very neat touch. But as it is, I think it looks great, and I'm really excited to watch this one. And it comes out soon, so don't have that much longer to wait. And that's really all I gotta say. There wasn't much at this expo that really interested me or blew me away. So I'm sorry for those of you who wanted me to really dive into each project and mention and discuss all the things that were brought up, but I really can't find the energy to do that because I don't have any interest in them. So instead I'm gonna ask you guys, what are you most excited about that you saw at Disney Expo? What are the projects that you're looking forward to? Leave a comment, let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. I'm gonna give a nice big shout out to the channel members. I love you guys more than I love an ice cold Monster energy drink on a hot summer day. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the join button down below and check out the perks. If they interest you, consider joining, or not, it don't matter.
None of this matters.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! baby! Come on! Yes! Come on!